It's that time. It is that time once again. One of my favorite times, where a tournament that is as intense and entertaining as it is goofy has begun. It's a World Cup, but not for the sport that I normally talk about. It's a World Championship, but not for a sport that I normally talk about. And you might not have any idea that it started, but let me show you that it has. And this was in one of the opening games, Japan against Taiwan, Chinese Taipei. Shohei Ohtani, who is the Ballon d'Or winning type player in baseball, is Japanese, dropping this absolute nuke.
The 2-1 now.
Woo!
Ohtani lights it up. It is gone.
This is, even if you understand nothing about baseball, the beginning of the World Baseball Classic, which is a tournament that is, I believe now, like maybe 20 years old. But for a while, people were wondering if it was viable. Now it has become an incredibly large thing in all the parts of the world of people that do not watch this channel. I am aware that the majority of the viewers of this channel are European. I think that we have a great time together most of the time. But every once in a while, I enter into a realm where European people just have no idea what's going on. And that would be the World Baseball Classic. But in North America, in Central America, in Northern South America, and in the Caribbean and in East Asia, baseball is a huge deal. And there's a lot of professional players from all of those areas. And as a result, the World Baseball Classic has become actually a really wonderful tournament. The last one ended with the US and Japan playing in the championship game, which is basically kind of like, getting a France-Germany showdown, in the championship game. And it ended up with the best American player up to bat against the best Japanese pitcher, who coincidentally is actually this guy that just hit that ball to the moon. And it launched the tournament into what is now awesome. And so if you are invested in awesome, entertaining sports shit, I am going to introduce you to this. First of all, Japan gets to host, because of its world ranking, one of the 4 groups. So there's 5 teams in each group, 4 groups, right? Japan gets to host one, and this is in the Tokyo Dome. They're playing Chinese Taipei. Taiwan is, they're actually quite good at baseball as well. And so they show up in the Tokyo Dome, and that's why the atmosphere is absolutely bumping. I'm going to give you another, this is the Japanese call, the way God intended you to hear it. So that's Shohei Ohtani. Again, it's the same play. It's the highest scoring play in baseball. You have the bases loaded, and then you hit the ball out of the park. You get all of those runs. So obviously very, very exciting. But the atmosphere for all of this in Japan, this is just on the first day. The U.S. hasn't even played yet, right? Most of the teams, or like half the teams, haven't even played yet by the time I'm recording this. The rest of them are kind of playing throughout the day. And if you are European, you got multiple teams that are European in this. Now, you're kind of like, and some African teams show up at the World Cup and most of their players were born elsewhere. There's just certain types of countries like that. Curacao is a great example. You guys are kind of that, right? The Netherlands has a pretty darn good baseball team, but it's literally just the Dutch Antilles. There's no actual Dutch guys on the team. As far as I know, it's all just Caribbean dudes, right? The British team, I don't even know where those guys come from, but Great Britain did qualify for the tournament this time around. There is a qualification process for the World Baseball Classic to become one of the 20 teams that plays here. Italy is here. It's literally just Italian Americans that still are able to get an Italian, passport to represent Italy. And like maybe a couple of dudes that were born in Italy and then moved to the US. But baseball is a very popular sport in the Italian American community. Speaking from experience, my mom is from the Italian American heritage section, sect section, whatever it is. Right? When they're not busy hanging out in the mafia and making amazing food in the U.S., they then play baseball. And so the Italian baseball team is also quite good. I think those are the only European teams in. Let me take a gander here. There's Italy. There's the UK has made it. Yeah, I think that's it. In the Netherlands. So if you're not, if your nation is not represented here, these 4 groups of 5 teams, the 20 teams that qualify for the World Baseball Classic that unfortunately are not there. But the vibes in general have been absolutely sensational. That was what I was talking about before I got distracted with that whole diatribe. Just look, the Japanese fans have their own song for each player when they come up to bat. The guy's name is Saya, by the way. But it's not just the Japanese either. Like, is this me just kind of trying to convince you that this is awesome? Yes, but it's also explaining the sport. The Mexican team, which I believe they're playing in the Miami section, they hit a home run against Team Great Britain in the second inning. They have a home run luchador mask, and home runs when you hit it out of the park. And when they hit a home run, they put the luchador mask on. It's awesome. Like, as somebody that loves sports, I feel like a lot of the people that follow this channel also love sports. I just wanted to let you guys know this was going on. Unfortunately for Team Great Britain, because I know a lot of you guys are here, Mexico won 8-2. Venezuela beat the Netherlands 6-2. Cuba beat Panama 3-1. Japan blew out Chinese Taipei 13-0. We had South Korea against the Czech Republic's in. Yeah, I don't really know how or why. But the Czech Republic, every time I've watched the World Baseball Classic, which is my third time since I knew what it was and really it became popular in the United States at all, the Czech Republic's been there every time. I have absolutely no idea why or how the Czech team is in the tournament. I have no idea where these players play. I've never seen a Czech major league player before. Maybe they're playing. Europe has some leagues. They're very small. Usually you'd have to play in Central America, East Asia, or North America if you want to play like a really high level, sustainable professional baseball career. I don't know where these Czech dudes are playing. They clearly have got some decent game. They only lost 11-4 to South Korea. They lost 5-1 to Australia, who's also a pretty darn good team. That was the start of pool play. This baseball you can basically play every day. So all of these games are happening. Just tomorrow, Italy plays Brazil. The U.S. is playing Great Britain at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you happen to stay up late, if you're one of the European viewers of this channel, you'll be able to check that out. And the classic pool play goes all the way around until everybody's played everybody else in their pool. And then we sort out what is essentially a top 8. Right, because there's 4 groups. You just take the top 2 from each group, and then they go into what is a quarterfinal. Unless the rules have changed, I'd be surprised if they had. And then we just, go through that quarterfinal process. Now, the favorites are obviously U.S., Japan, Dominican Republic. Those are the 3 teams that are at the absolute top level. But I think, Venezuela, South Korea, Mexico's got some surprising hands always. Canada's got some really good players. Puerto Rico is dangerous. Cuba also, you never know what you're going to get with Cuba because those guys play like in their own league and then they show up and sometimes they're really good. And so the Cuban team is also dangerous. There is more parity in the World Baseball Classic than you would probably imagine. There are 20 teams in it. It will be going on for like 2 to 2.5 weeks. And I feel like if I didn't know it was happening, then I'd want to know. I mean, they're outside of football, soccer, and cricket, there really isn't another acknowledged World Cup kind of environment for any other sport. Basketball and hockey both kind of have them, but the Olympics are the main attraction for them. The Olympics is still where the biggest event happens. It's not the case for baseball. This is it. You've got the Cricket World Cup. You've got the rugby. How many people are going to not even have gotten to this point and they've already started typing a comment about rugby? Rugby, cricket, soccer, football, obviously, baseball. Those are your 4 big World Cup environments that you're going to be able to actually get. It's like, why not enjoy those? I try and follow those even though I have no idea what's going on. I mean, the U.S. beat Pakistan at the T20 one time, and it was great. And we were putting the, American cricketer guys up on Mount Rushmore with Photoshop or AI or whatever, and it was a great time. We were putting them all in George Washington wigs, and they were great Americans for having won a game at the T20 World Cup. I had no idea what was going on. It's just fun to be able to get involved in these kinds of international tournaments. And also, not to mention the fact that out of those 4 sports I just named, this is obviously the one the U.S. is best at. We are obviously one of the powers, certainly not the betting favorite. We actually haven't won it in a while. Dominican Republic and Japan have won the last 2. So kind of hoping the U.S. is able to actually win one of them, but it's definitely good for the game. And I think it's really grown the game. And it is a great showpiece event for a sport that I think people that don't live in countries that play it have no idea how big baseball is for people that live in the countries that do play it. So it's really cool for the World Baseball Classic to be happening. And now, I'm going to go watch the U.S. play Brazil, who Brazil had only qualified for this tournament once before. I think Brazil might actually be the worst team in this entire tournament. So the U.S. might be about to lay the wood on Brazil. It's like Germany playing Curacao here. So let's see. It's normally the inverse there. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to go tune into it, and I hope you guys are able to at least catch some fun highlights and kind of know sort of what's going on. If you see baseball on your timeline, it's because the World Baseball Classic is happening. It's the World Cup of baseball. Go along for the ride. The crowds and the celebrations are usually pretty awesome, and the scenes, particularly once you get to the knockouts, can get crazy intense. It's worth the watch. All right. Have a good weekend, guys.